Everybody. I hope you're having a great day. I'm Jules Skopp, and I'm going to be walking you through the AI map today. So let's just jump straight into it. So my story starts here. It was roughly 4 years ago. I used to work at Expedia, and we were tasked to create the best B2B coaching platform for our clients. Those of you who know Expedia, Expedia is a travel platform, and the travel platform consists of it's a marketplace, so it's like two sides of the story, right? The travelers and the people who we call partners. And these partners are hoteliers, hotel owners, or managers and marketing managers, and these kind of folks who are setting up the offer. So we wanted to create a platform for them, and it was a great thing because we would be helping them to give them a next best course of action. And the way how it looked like, that coaching platform looked like somewhat like this. So it was think of it as some sort of a box with a text in it and a button that says just do it, just act on this thing. And the text there was supposed to convince them that this is the right thing. And you know what? I spent last 13 years working in intersection of design, product strategy, data, and lately in AI-enabled tools and enhancements. So I felt like, oh, this was almost too easy. We got it out there. We did it the right way, and we published the product. We launched it globally, and somehow, it went too smooth. So, one thing that we started collecting from our partners was that they they were thinking we decided what they need instead of asking them what they want. And now, like if you think about the current situation, how AI is really uh, disrupting the digital experiences, this felt like, okay, there must be a better solution how we can capture that, how we can capture and ask them what they want, right? Like typically chatbots. Um, so that got me thinking, okay, what is the right way to integrate AI into existing products? I'm not talking about all those fancy new things that we have at the moment, like all those agentic flows or chat GPT and all of those. There's plenty of guidance about that. This one is more about like, okay, what about the legacy? What about the products before the AI revolution? And like just digging into this, I was thinking, okay, there are big players out there. I researched some of their articles, like IBM, Microsoft, and other big consultancies introducing AI into existing platforms. And what they were saying is like, okay, all you have to do is look at your business goals, align the team around them, look at your technology, whether you have the right data, whether you have the infrastructure set up for this, and then figure out what AI platform, what AI tool, or what AI pattern can be introduced, what AI feature can be built. And like I envision the reason why you're seeing this assembly line here is these are the kind of like fundamental like boxes, right? Of the business, the tech, the users, analytics, and all of that. There's like a building blocks of a structure of a good product, but one of them fell off. Right? And that's the user needs, the people here. It's all evolved around business and tech, and not necessarily with people's needs first. So that's what I wanted to do with this particular talk, and look at the entire AI integrations through the lens of like how we can build this around the other way around, like flip it around and build it around the people. So uh, one thing that was common for our partners, right? They're the hoteliers, right? They're the big hotel owners, and what they needed always was bookings. All right, they wanted to have more business, and it's also what we wanted. All right, and we wanted to have bookings, so that's where we aligned with our partners, and it's all very high level business, right? It's a user need was getting them more bookings because that's how we make business. That's how they make business, and I wanted to talk about something. So over this course of the AI revolution and how we are introducing AI patterns, there's a shift where we started talking like that I need bookings is really a need of our partners, right? It's a high level goal that they want, but also what they need in order to sustain their business. So it's a need. It's quite high level. That's why I'm talking about it, because in AI patterns, we actually need to talk a little bit more about the intent, about things that are, like more closer to what we want to achieve, what they want to get there. Well, what is the stepping stone to achieve that need, right? To complete that and satisfy that need. So, what we're talking about is how we get from need to intent, and how do we get our partners, and in our designs, how do we reflect on intent capture and intent oriented AI features. So, if we talk about intent specifically, in this case, maybe the intent of our partners would be, I want to improve the offer in the eyes of our travelers. As a hotel owner, I want to look good. I want to be attractive, so I can get more bookings. I get more people in. I get more visits to my property. So, big learning here, or the first takeaway that I wanted to share, is focus on the intent. Intent is what people are trying to accomplish right now in the context, using the language, their own natural language, actions and signals that can be interpreted by AI. So that's a slight difference between the traditional need focused designing and designing for AI powered experiences. So getting a little bit more detail, one step further down the chain. So let's talk about the map, right? So that's the fun part here. So I wanted to really focus on one part of the map, and that's just sharing with you before we jump in, like the method, how I build this thing, and what the AI map is really a set of categories focused around what are the current implementations of AI products. So I've collected, the method I used here was I've collected patterns. Like whenever I saw any AI implementation, I just captured it. I had a ton of screenshots. Then I used AI to collect some as well. And I tried to group them into, like the typical affinity mapping, like when you have post-its all around walls and then you take them out and you put them in the groups. So I've created 3 different versions of categories. So think of it as 3 different sets. And then I stress tested them. There's like which one is actually working as a proper categorization for AI patterns, right? So I had 3 different variations of this entire talk essentially. And I think the major one, the one that I stress tested with different use cases and different scenarios and different products, roughly 10 of them were in my stress test. The one that felt the most, had the most confidence at the end, was the intent based. So pretty much the reason why we're talking about the intent so much. And then finally, the last step was I've tested the gaps, because I'm not using all the products in the world, right? So I wanted to see which ones am I missing. So there were quite a lot that I missed. But I just wanted to be clear that how I came up to this categorization that I'm going to show you. So altogether, I've collected 6 categories. There are pretty much like the classic things that you might have seen before, all the way down to pretty niche. So I'd like to think about these categories as neighborhoods in a small town, right? Each neighborhood has its own characteristics and its own pitfalls, its own challenges. So I wanted to group these 6 categories into kind of like more digestible groups. And frankly, it was just easier to navigate in this presentations. So I grouped them into communicate and create, research and adapt, and operate autonomously. And those previous the categories I was showing you before, they are just groups. These are really just grouped in the themes. So for easier consumption here. And the way how you can use all of this is you can look at your intent that you're trying to capture in your design decision or your product decision, and then you can reflect on like, okay, where does it actually fit within this map? All right, what are the right inspiration, what are the right patterns I can tap into to satisfy that intent, right? Not just the need, but one step further down. Okay, so the first theme is communication and creation. So this is the theme, and within it we have the two categories. One is support and assistance, and the other one is creation and productivity. And in support and assistance, we do have chatbots, chat UI, therapeutic AI, personalized tutoring, and accessibility. But generally, what I want to talk about is the intent this group is trying to capture. This intent of support and assistance is to seek help, right? And to seek some sort of support, something that can help you overcome challenges that you're seeing. And major use cases there are chatbots. And you might be asking, okay, what's the difference? What's the difference between chatbots and therapeutic AI? Is that you're doing this just to identify and diagnose, all right, what you're going through, what your emotions you're going through. That's the only main purpose, right? Whereas chatbots and chat UI can be used for various things, all right? Typically support, technical support. And then we have creation and productivity, where the intent is a little bit different. It's about creating value and being more efficient while doing so, right? Those are the two major categories within this entire space. I think they dominate the roughly 80%, if we use the Pareto law, 80% of the use cases that we're seeing right now. And so let's have a look at this first one. So support and assistance, right? And we know that chatbots are everywhere. Personalized tutoring. Hello, Duolingo. I'm late today. Sorry, Lily. And then we have accessibility, which really unlocks the big, beautiful world for people with the various different handicaps, impairments, and whatnot. So I think this is really important part of what support and assistance means and what's the essence of it is. So there is one thing about this category that pushes my buttons, and this is my rant version. Okay, this is the rant time for me, and that is the chatbots. So it was roughly a month and a half ago, where I used this financial app and I sent in money and I wanted to get it deposited in my account, and it didn't happen. And I was wondering, like, what's up? So I went through their help and
Jules,
Mhm.
sorry to interrupt. Are you sharing your screen?
Yes.
Just because we can't see it. I just noticed a few
Okay.
comments in the chat. Sorry to
No
interrupt.
worries, no worries. I'll do it again. I'll try to get this going. Um, yeah, thank you for doing that. I don't know how long, how much of you haven't seen, but let's see. Okay, and screen and window, and you should be able to see it now. Can you see it now? I guess you do. So I'm just going to trust it. Um,
Yes.
okay, so yeah, talking about this, so we have like I send the money to this financial app, and month and a half later, I don't see the money still on my account. It's literally I wanted a refund because it didn't appear in the product and didn't appear in my bank account. So I started a conversation, and long story short, the chatbot didn't remember at all. It just didn't know about anything I was doing. It was literally just sitting there and didn't have the context. Every time I approached it, every other day, it just forgot what I was talking about, and it was asking me to go to the previous conversations, but they were closed. I mean, there was nothing I could do, just rate it, whether it was good or bad, whether I resolved it or not. So it was always no, right? So, um, but there's another financial app where the same thing happened pretty much, and I wanted to say, hey, this is a fraud. I wanted my money back. And I went through a lengthy form. It was not a chatbot. It was a lengthy form where they ask you very pointy questions, kind of like confirming. And at the within a day, I got my money back. Right. So it was like a completely different thing that coincidentally happened at the same time. Right. So that was great. So I wanted to say that chat is not a great catch-all solution, and not just in that particular use case that I was sharing, because the support through chat is actually pretty good, but it's not a great catch-all solution for what I'm seeing it being used for in other digital products right now. So I'm one of these random people who kick the scooter on the street out of no reason. And that's how I feel about the chatbots right now, right? I don't want to kick the scooters, by the way. But the chatbots are not a great solution for complex navigation. Okay, like simplifying the navigation is, investing in information architecture is, or investing in better search is not a chatbot. Okay, it's not a great solution when user context and intent is not clear, right? It's good to capture that, but it's not when it's clear. Sorry. So it's good to capture that intent, not to use the chatbot to try to figure it out from you. Then chat AI is not UI is not great for extensive work. So looking through the conversations, right? If you're using ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or other kind of like these smart systems, AI systems, they if you work on a complex task, it's so painful to go back and forth. So it's not great for that. And it's also not great for parallel work. So we are entering the agentic era, and we're going to be sending these agents to do many things, many small tasks, all at the same time, and then they're going to come back. It's really difficult to do this through chat, to see all those parallel things, because chat is sequential. Okay, so I was mentioning that when it's good, when chat actually helps a good service, does the good service, right? So it's the help situation here. This is at Expedia, and chat here is really well connected. It's intertwined into the data that we have about you as a traveler, but at the same time intertwined into our systems, into the navigation, into all of it's kind of baked in. So we don't know. We do have a scope of what we wanted to communicate, that is the help, but at the same time, we do have an understanding and intent that the people can share with us through this. All right. So chat is really good for intent capture. I'm going to check whether I'm sharing. It looks like I am not sharing again. So I'm going to try to do this. All right. I hope you're seeing it. So chat is a great for intent capture when you don't know what the people need from you, but you have it scoped down a little bit. So one key takeaway is chat won't fix it. It won't help you out. It's a cheap way to be pretend AI native company. When I see it and it's not implemented well, it's not hooked into your data, it doesn't have the context. It's a terrible, terrible, disappointing experience. So let's look at the other part, the other category, creation and productivity. So this is all the creative stuff, the fun things. And within it, we have, I want to tell you a story. So I was leading this team that was introducing advertising portal for our partners. And one of the key interactions that we were tasked to do was to introduce Gen AI, right? As you're creating an ad, you have the picture, you have the title and description, and we needed to bring in the Gen AI. And this is a perfect use case because this is where it shines the most. So one thing we learned is we just slap that button next to every single interaction, and our partners could generate things, right? And can do the magic. And we figured out that it might be a little bit too much. It might be too much interaction, too much kind of like friction and too many buttons to press. Now we know already how to do this a little bit better. And that is, there's a pattern that is well known. It's called generate and tweak, or gen and tweak. And what this pattern does is instead of piecemeal generation that is not connected, what you can do is instead generate the whole thing and then pick which are the parts you want to tweak. It's like in the image, if you use the Midjourney or DALL-E or some other tools, you can actually in-paint, it's called in-painting, what you want to change, what you want to tweak. It's in your photo editing app, right, on your phone, where you can just circle around people and they magically disappear. So it works the same way for text, it works the same way for interaction. So you can actually change just that tiny part or larger part, and enabling this is extremely powerful interaction pattern when generating and tweaking your answers, right? And when you're tweaking the content. So there are a couple of examples when it's done super well, right? Typeform, Gen and Tweak is one of those. So Typeform is a form generation platform, and look at that. I'm trying to select, like the text, and it automatically pops up this thing. It says like, "Hey, you know what? Let's make this more concise. Let's make this question a little bit more punchy." And you see that little refresh button. That's the important piece because you can tweak it or generate a new one and generate and go on, like do it as many times as you need, right? So this is perfect use case of that. Another great example is when you're using MacBook and you're in your email app, you can see like different tone, you can set up different tone, you can proofread things when you select them using the Apple Intelligence, which is again extremely powerful and truly I use it all the time. It understands different languages as well, which is just incredible. Okay, now let's take a main point here. Gen and Tweak. It's a perfect pattern for this kind of stuff when using content creation. Follow a pattern to generate and selectively tweak, or generate the whole thing again. All right, researching and adapting. So, what this theme is about two buckets: intelligence and analysis, that's the category 3, and personalization, that's the category 4. These are the second most popular group that I'm seeing out there in the product realm, and specifically intelligence and analysis is just taken away so much. It's such a big point of AI patterns, and the intent there is, I have a lot of data, help me understand it. I have a lot of text, help me understand it. I have simplify for me, do the synthesis. If I'm not getting this right, help me get it right. Right? That's the semantic search. So that's what intelligence and analysis is about. And then personalization is more about companionship, just getting the information about you. And the intent there is your intent as a partner or user is to understand, is to get better sense and teach the AI what you're going through, and let AI help you through it, like almost like in that movie Her, right? When the person was talking to his computer. So these are all the personalized interactions where you're learning more about the people, and that's the intent of that interaction. So let's focus on the first one. I want to tell you a story where we were sitting in the car and there was a lot of dings happening from the screen. Ding, ding, a new message, new message. There was a discussion somewhere, right? And I was anxious to have a look at it, but I'm driving, kids in the car. I don't want to get distracted. But a magic happened, right? And the magic was the assistant started talking at me, saying that, hey, there's an ongoing conversation between various parties, and there's one person who's passive aggressive about how you always show up late to things, and that was unnecessary. But I found it absolutely stunning that this is what AI can bring. This summarization of conversation that was in completely different language than what I would be, like very good at speaking. So as one example, summarization is a very common pattern. So we see it here, for example. That's the wrong title. Let's just say summarization. But literally everything in pink here in the Mac Mail app is summarized from the email, which begs the question: is like, okay, if this much summary is needed just to browse through my emails, maybe we should do something different with our emails. Maybe we can summarize it before we even reach out to people. So a key takeaway for me here is get to the point. These summaries are super helpful. I wish we could do more concise language in our products as well. So this is more like a distant goal. Okay, less wordy information front loading is now more important than ever. One word is one too many, even if it's grammatically correct or incorrect in this case. Right. So let's look at the category intelligence and analysis, right? So we went through the summarization pattern, and now let's talk about recommendations. Netflix, this, it's so good, right? It recommends things exactly how it should. LinkedIn's job recommendations, like when it kind of like senses what you might be interested in, and surfaces those to you. I'm using this a lot nowadays. So it's really smart and learns how you interact. Another pattern that we're seeing is a smart prediction, where it's literally about, like, Gmail can finish your sentences. The same thing in Mac Mail and other mail applications, where it can craft the entire email without even you having to do anything about it. There's a startup that is just doing this. It's like I can't remember the name anymore, but it provides you with prescribed actions based on every email you click. So you click one, and it just says, schedule time here, or respond you can't make it, or da, da, da. So you don't even have to type anything anymore. So it's a powerful machine learning pattern that is being employed. And then we have that's literally what I'm talking about here. It's the next best action, right? It kind of predicts that email startup was predicting what might be my answer. So the next best action, it's a pattern that we established with our coaching platform as well, right? So imagine this box with a button in it, a lot of text, and the process behind it was, we needed to gather a lot of data about travelers, about our partners, and put it all together. Like, what's the demand like? Where's your hotel? What's the market like? What's the travel feeling like? How many things you acted upon in the past that we suggested to you, right? So we gathered all those hundreds of data, well, 108 data points. Then we figured out these are the actions our partners could take, and we scored them against this data to calculate which one is the most revenue yielding, which one essentially impacts our partners the most. And then we shown the first top action. Here it is. And we ask our partners to reflect whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, right? With the thumbs up and down. And my takeaway here is, takeaway number 5 is live the science, right? So learn how the process of recommending works. And it applies to every single pattern I'm sharing here today. It's so important to know the mechanics behind it. And I'm going to get to this one, so stay tuned. But talk to your friendly data scientist today. Data insights is another one of these patterns. So data insights historically up to 2022 was mostly around, okay, here are two lines. I see the gap between 1 and 2 here. Highlighted historical data mostly, and act on it, right? You can do something about it. It's an error, it's an anomaly, or it's a market gap, right? And so that was data insight pre-AI. Post-AI, kind of like being introduced so overwhelmingly in our products, we're looking more into like what comes after that line that says now. So a lot of data products are now about modeling the future, trying to predict, like those historical lines, how would they finish, right? And this is super important in business. It's still a very immature product that predicts the business decisions. There are a couple of very big players out there that are trying to do this, but it's still pretty clunky. So this is going to be a great advancement. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Okay, so that is the intelligence and analysis part. And let's look at the personalization part, right? So this one is about that connection. Like, your intent is literally build friendship or build some sort of relationship with something. It's also helping you to have like a personalized way to communicate, right? So multimodal AI means that you choose your format, you choose your content that you want to share, and adaptive interfaces is super cool. I'm going to show you, okay? Like, the next example is adaptive interface, where it's a traditional form, but all the labels are AI generated. So have a look. I'm going to stay quiet because it's a lot of reading. So have a look at this one. It's a formless. Okay. So it's about shoes, and you type in your answer that is not expected, and it still gets it from you. Like, it still extracts the information it was asked to extract. And look at how, like, all personalized. It's like having a conversation with a real person. It's so cool. So I just wanted to share that with you, like how clever this is. I've stumbled upon this because I was participating in a survey like this, and I was just wow, I was amazed. Okay, so let's have a look at the next example, adaptive AI. This is LinkedIn and how it prompts you to do the next engagement post, right? A very adaptive AI because it checks what you're interested in and then recommends it to you. So I really appreciated that. So those were the personalization part of it, right? The adaptive UI is the one that I wanted to really focus on because that's the one that I feel like has the most chance to be implemented and integrated in legacy products. And the last group is operate autonomously. Now this one I'm going to breeze through because autonomous operations still pretty new. Agentic AI is still in its infancy. Robotics, we have the couple of startups that are doing this now. Here in Switzerland, we have River, a robot startup that delivers. It's the last mile delivery service. So there's a lot of autonomous operations things spinning up right now, but these are not necessarily focused on the legacy platform. The only one that I know about, or my research shown a lot of them, but actually they were all non-public facing or non-general public facing. So BMW, for example, was shown as one that is introducing a lot of physical world integration. Okay, and then the last one is the trust and control. So we have the need or the intent to focus on why you're showing me the things you're showing me, how I can recover from this, how I can, keep my data safe, right? So we're gonna look into that too. So let's start with a brief example of autonomous operation because I think it might be interesting just to mention it, but then I'm gonna move to the trust and control. Agentic design work in Cursor was just announced, I think, a couple of days back, where now in the programming where the agent the Cursor agent helps you predict the code that you're going to write. Now you can design in there as well and employ multiple agents, right? I was talking about how chat is terrible for this, but it's really good when you have visual interface, for example, when you see those agents working on things. Now this is super cool, isn't it? So that's the future. Well, let's get back to our story, and I'm going to be closing my presentation with this one. So our partners were asking us, okay, what do you want? Like, why are you dictating me? You decided what I need instead of was asking what I want. And my question was like, okay, so what do you want? What is that you actually need? What is it that you're seeking from us? And what they were seeking is actually like, this is how the real product looked like. Okay, so it's their dashboard kind of thing, and this down here at the bottom is the recommendation, right? And what they were actually seeking was this small bit of information. This is what they wanted. This is what they were interested in. They wanted the data. So essentially what this was doing was saying that people reacting to this recommendation were 17% better than you. And that was our proof point. So we attached all this proof to every single recommendation. And this is what you need to do. And we know better than you, right? That was the button. That's how it sounded. So you should do it, right? But our partners were still kind of like, okay, but that's just not enough options. I'm seeing the data, and I'm seeing one single thing. So what we did is we took this entire process, right, that I was showing you before, and we said like, okay, let's do it 3 times more. Let's do it 5 times more, 7 times more. We did it 40 something times more. And we were showing so many recommendations all of a sudden with particular proof points, right? Each proof point tailored to that particular recommendation is kind of like trying to convince you, press that button. And our partners were still a little bit hesitant. Now I know if we were to do this again, most probably we should think about it. We would think about it differently. We would think about it like, okay, maybe they're missing more control, like having more options. So essentially, instead of doing this 3 times or 10 times or 40 times, what we could do instead is say, okay, here's a bunch of things you can do about this particular data point. Okay, not many different actions and different data points, but this particular data points, and these are the 3 things you could be doing, and let partners do whatever they feel is the most appropriate. Of course, convincing which one yields more money for them, that's a good thing, but it could be put more eloquently like this. And the other thing was missing transparency. Like, why am I being this shown this recommendation, right? And it's not that that proof point is just convincing you to click because others were doing it, but it was not showing you why this was prioritized in your eyes. So a dramatic change in the data science process will be what metrics influence the score the most, and put that in one of these steps, essentially saying like, hey, you know what, we're going to show you where we spotted that gap in the metrics, where we spotted the opportunity in the data. So for example, to be more concrete, demand is high, here are the top three things you can do, and one of them is, bump up your price. The other one would be create various incentives to overcome that people are willing to pay for more. I don't know. And the last one would be maybe have some promotion in place, right? Um, so that's the main takeaway here. The takeaway six: give reason and options. That's how you build trust with people. If they know why you're showing them the things that you're showing them. So, just to summarize, the AI map, a lot of things you can do. If you can refer to this, it will make me happy. It will make the world a better place, I guess, if you know which ones to go. So I hope I'm making this easier for you as well in the future as you start working on your own AI products. And then finally, the learnings, which I'm going to be sharing then in on my LinkedIn. So feel free to follow me. So thank you so much for listening. And I'm going to check whether there are any questions and see whether this was going well. So I'm going to stop sharing, check the chat. Okay, so are there any questions?
I just sorry, Jules. Just for the time for the next talk, because it's starting in 2 minutes. I noticed there are a few people in the chat that wanted to meet you in the virtual space or in the conference
Okay.
space, and they had a few requests, I think related to some of a part of the presentation where you referred to a map or something. So I guess they'll meet you in the chill glade or they'll come and find you.
Okay. All right. I'll see you then.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Jules, for
Thank you all.
everything. Bye, everybody.